is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Fridays, and I'm King here to bridge the gap between the community and crypto every day, Monday through Friday at 10-ish. I like to sing it. And we are live.
Fight!
Hey, hey. Oh man, there it is. There it is. There it is. Hey, you gotta love it. I will say this: I didn't go too in depth. I just did an introduction because something told me. I tested this show so many times, and I realized it still was on mute. But I tested it before I even started. But welcome back to the show, Warriors. Today is Tuesday, September 2nd, 2025. I'm King, here to bridge the gap between the community and crypto. Now back Monday through Friday. And you got to love a show when it starts off muted. Want to give a shout out to today's sponsor, Portal to Bitcoin. They are, we're supposed to be on today. We had a scheduling, I guess, interference. They're overseas. Some of those folks working back and forth with time zones. So they got a little bit of scheduling done, messed up, but they apologize. They will be back this week is the game plan. Hopefully we'll have their CEO or somebody on the team on. But they did send us an apology, said a shout out to the Warriors today. They definitely wanted to be here. Again, they are the official show sponsor, so I'm still going to shout out Portal to Bitcoin today, and we will have them on this week. They are a DeFi permissionless Bitcoin to everything across Atomic Swap wallet, as well as just another DeFi layer one on Bitcoin. So we'll be having their team on this week to talk more about Portal to Bitcoin. But all right, I am not muted now. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. It's been about 4 to 5 weeks. I am back every day. The great news is that Hollywood is booming, folks. I'm officially getting turned down by people who matter, at least. Okay, so that's the good thing. Okay, when I walk in the room now, it's a room full of faces of everybody we've seen before on red carpets and all those type of things. I'm officially a part of the machine. I'm a part of the machine. So that's why I've been busy the last 4 or 5 weeks. Had to jump on some great opportunities. You'll see me in some things probably toward the end of this year, and if not, for sure next year as well. But some great things coming out, and I'm on hold for some other things. We'll see what's up if I get it or not. But that's what's been going on. As I sat on the sideline and patiently waited for a track to explode on, I was looking at Bitcoin, kind of going crazy, as I kind of already said. I figured about $115,000, $120,000, we start seeing that retraction, some pushbacks. I did think we'll get a big dip, which we haven't seen a huge dip yet. It doesn't look like that's anywhere in sight, actually, too, throughout this summertime going into the end of the year. But I figure we might get some pushback. So we've been seeing that. What I didn't think was going to happen, which has been pretty interesting to see, has been Ethereum, right? Ethereum, I think the last time I was on live, Ethereum was still at 3,000 and some change, 3,700. And of course, it has went parabolic since then. So of course, first things first, let's talk about prices and not the revamped coin market cap website. I don't like it. I don't like it. Coin market cap. Go back to what you had. Number one, Bitcoin, $111,000, 111 and $142,000, $111,042 just changed on us. Up 1.66%. Ethereum, $4,355. down 0.97%. You talk about a price point that shouldn't be there. I'm looking at you, Ethereum. Number four, XRP, $2.82, up $1.88, 1.88%. And another thing you'll notice with all these altcoins, a few of them have some decent pumps, but no one has pumped like Ethereum. So I mean, there is definitely some of that promotion going on in the background and some of that force pumping going on in the background from these Ethereum maxis, these corporate Ethereum maxis who wanted to do well. They're trying to push it to 10K. I'm not mad at them. Let's see if they have enough juice because it was pumping, of course, after Bitcoin took his little cool off, his little break. And now Bitcoin's taking an extended cool off and break from what I've seen about a week and a half, 2 weeks now. So it'll be interesting to see if Ethereum will continue pumping through the price point where Bitcoin's at now. BNB, $849, down 0.47%. Solana, number six, $203, up 1.38%. Number eight, Tron, 33 cent, down, or excuse me, up 0.3%. Number nine, Dogecoin, somehow miraculously still in that top 10 at 21 cent, down 1.99%. Does anyone believe Dogecoin to a dollar still? When is that happening? Cardano, I'm seeing interviews from what we call it in the weirdest places. What's their, I don't even know their founder name anymore. I can't think of it. Hoskinson. Charles, I'm seeing interviews from Charles across the weirdest places on the internet. He's requesting and accepting any type of side mission, anything but Cardano, but they are at number 10 somehow at 82 cent, down 0.38%. Fear and greed index is at a 39, and it looks like they took off the Bitcoin and Ethereum what is it Bitcoin and Ethereum's percentage of the market, overall market percentage. So we're not seeing that anymore. We're not seeing a few things. You have new trending coins popped up where you can see some new tokens you never heard of. Shout out to Ibiza Final Boss. I was just watching the show. They were talking about Ibiza. And it is the end of summertime. So all those Ibiza pool parties are finally ending. I can understand why that's a top three coin, but that is absolutely hilarious. Then you have Royal Liberty Financial on there as well. Of course, that's been pumped all year by those Trumpians over there. So kind of the same, but different. Speaking of Trump, of course, official Trump is the second token, as I just say that. Pump.fun. I'm still getting in a bunch of chain mail messages from them. So they're doing their marketing play. They should be in the top 4 or 5. Makes sense, but they have changed Cointelegraph for the most part. And those are your prices on the day. And again, if you're just joining, first shout out to everyone for dealing with my muted mic. What's crazy is that I literally test everything before I got on today. Like I'm not BSing, folks. I got on today at 6:40, 20 minutes before showtime. Actually, about a little 5 minutes before that. I would say 6:35, 6:30. For those who missed it, we were supposed to have Portal to Bitcoin on today. They will be back this week. I'm messaging their marketing folks now. CEO had a mix up. He got a lot going on. I'm not mad at him. I definitely understand you're in different time zones, different projects, different interviews. A lot goes on, but it's been a pleasure to work with them in the background. So we will have them this week for Portal to Bitcoin. You missed the muted mic, and then of course we're talking this force pumping to Ethereum. Jake, you know I'm going to call it out. Listen, that was not a natural Ethereum pump. I'm not going to go there. Okay, I'm not going to rant right now. I'm not going to rant. But yes, with that being said, shout out to the Warriors. Shout out Zulu said, let me get some of that Mavis tire. Yep. The Mavis one is running on the East Coast. Listen, it's a great year right now, folks. A lot's going on the Hollywood side of the house, and I'm going to keep pushing that button right now. But I have not forgot about the Warriors. Is more or less just projects I have on hold that I didn't feel comfortable coming back to you all without. But it's almost there. Just been a lot going on. But with that being said, shout out Zulu, CA Allen, Chris Minka. Accumulation in Bitcoin will take longer now at a $2 trillion market cap. Expect months for new price action. That could be true. But when you have stories like today, you got strategy still buying up a ton of Bitcoin and crypto, Bitcoin specifically. We know that price is going to keep pumping off those institutions. T, what up, though? Let's see. Jake Fever, of course. Jake, shout out to Jake and Trek, of course, for holding it down with the shows and the Bitcoin Insight in the Discord. Ken Mitchell, what up, though? My Crypto Space UK. BK Crypto said Afro King. You already know, hilarious. Jump out, girls. What's going on? Mobato 242. You actually had audio when you started, so you must have muted somewhere in between. You know what? That's what I'm thinking too. Because when I started, I definitely had audio, but who knows? You know how this game goes. The YouTube said, "Oh, you back for more? All right, let's get the party started." P Man Van, hope you're doing well. I've been listening to some of those songs, my random rotation as well. D, No ID, Dear Bit. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Back to the show. All right, again, I did expect to do an interview today, so I didn't prepare a ton of stories. But a couple of stories I did prepare and I want to talk about are, of course, surrounded around the price of Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now, Bitcoin's easy. All right. If you've been listening to Jake Fever in the Discord or on his shows, you already know Jake he's been screaming this. I will give him that. He has been screaming for the last year and a half, 2 years. Folks, it is basically too late for you to get that whole Bitcoin. You better start dollar cost averaging. He hasn't been wrong. The trajectory we are in is a parabolic Bitcoin price, which is great. Will it happen in the short term? Of course, no. We are already seeing some of that pullback and pushback and retracement coming from the market, which is overall a healthy thing to see. In general, I think this latest, I would say this last week and a half, 2 weeks, pushback is not only right on time for kind of that end of summer, you win the Labor Day. Like it's about to be a lull period right now where a lot of sideways action, I believe. And you really won't get another pump until the end of October. Of course, you get the birth of Bitcoin's white paper and things of that sort, which will add some, some news stories and a small pump to it. But you'll get a lot of sideways action to the end of October, Halloween. You might get a small pump. And then you're going to get that sideways action going into Thanksgiving, if not an actual dip. But on the day of Thanksgiving, we usually have a pump. The 25th and 26th is usually a pump. And then there's usually a sideways movement to a nice pump going into the first week and a half of December. Usually we see a nice pump December 1st through the December 10th area. You see something happen during that time where we'll go sideways again, maybe even a small dip up until actual Christmas. And then the next day after Christmas, we normally see another pump and a small pump higher to New Year's Day, which of course celebrates Bitcoin's birthday. So again, there's not a lot of chances for a dip to naturally happen based off of charts for these last few years. If you're just looking at a technical analysis from the last few years, is like you're not going to see a lot of dips right now before January. Honestly, a lot of them happened in that first quarter. We didn't see a lot of them happen in the last couple of first quarters because, of course, the impending president coming in, which was changing the price action, and then the impending president actually coming and doing all the executive orders change the price action as well. So we saw a lot of movement in these last two first quarters we normally would not see or traditionally we haven't seen. This year, I would say there is a chance for it to be a slow first quarter because the president has already done so much for this community, that being the Bitcoin and crypto community. But I think it's also almost gambling to just expect him to just like, all right, he's did everything, like nothing's going to happen now. Like at this point, with as much movement as we've seen, I think we'll see the president or the executive office or whatever continue to do things for and toward crypto coming into the new year. So I don't think it'll be a lot of sideways price action. I think in January, there may be some big announcements, especially coming from the SEC. Don't forget, there's a lot of tokens that are still waiting to get the go ahead for an ETF. So a lot of price action can still happen toward the end and then the beginning of next year. So with all that being said, there are not a lot of dips left, right? The dips right now are more or less, I would say, institutional exhaustion to where they're just tired of buying, right? It doesn't matter if you have money or not. Who has money and have went out before and on vacation or a shopping spree or even to the grocery store, right? And it's like, I don't care what the amount is. After you spent so much, or after you just keep spending, you keep throwing money down the drain, you're finally just like, I'm just tired of spending money. So I believe that is what's happening with these institutions right now, to where they're saying, hey, we're tired of spending money on Bitcoin. We get it. It's going to happen. It's not going to happen overnight. And the more we buy, the higher we push the price up. So I think that's why we're seeing a little sideways movement right now. Of course, we're going to be talking about strategy here because they are not stopping their buys. But the bottom line is Bitcoin is live and well. Worst case scenario, we do get some crazy type of dip or flash crash back to 70, 85K. That's worst case scenario. And best case scenario, we continue to pump to 125, 130. I think that's when we'll face the next kind of ceiling at 122, 123. That's when you'll face the next big resistance, which we kind of already saw as we were at 115 or one whatever. We saw the resistance push it back down. And of course, Ethereum ate off that, which we'll be talking about in a moment. So again, this is strategy. They added $449 million in Bitcoin, raising August total to 7.7 thousand Bitcoin. This is Michael Saylor's strategy, which announced a 449 million Bitcoin purchase last week, bringing their total Bitcoin buys in August to just over 7,714 Bitcoin. So again, these big type of purchases are what's raising the price or keeping the price point where it's at. This has nothing to do with the retail market, which is alive and well, which are mostly holders at this point. Um, and it's great, right? Like Bitcoin is great. When you hear about it now in the streets, when people talk about it, there isn't this talk of it being only for shadowy super coders or criminals or porn stars or whatever else. It's more of a talk of it being the premium asset, the thing that is the hardest to accumulate or get now. And it is something that people really want, right? This is something that is now in the mainstream that people know about, that instantly puts you in the cool kid crowd, not the weird, smelly kid crowd or the nerd crowd any longer. So, really cool to see it come to fruition. This is no longer your neighborhood underground rap artist. You've heard me use that metaphor in the past. This is now the mainstream number one streaming artist on the planet. Everyone knows about it and everyone's talking about it. And Michael Saylor said, I just can't get enough of it. All right. Michael Saylor said, I want more. That is right. Strategy acquired 4,048 Bitcoin for $449.3 million between August 25th and Monday, according to U.S. SEC Commission filing on Tuesday. Their latest purchase was made at an average price of $110,981 per Bitcoin, as the crypto asset briefly surged above 113,000 and subsequently dropped below 108,000 on Friday, according to CoinGecko. So again, these are those institution type of numbers. They're buying things dollar cost averaging at $110,000. And again, while they're doing it, we should be doing it too. Okay. You might not have enough money to do $449.3 million buys, but some of you have enough money to do a $449 buy. If not, some of you have enough money to do a $4.49 buy, right? Like these are all different price points you can get your Bitcoin and crypto out at. The important thing is that your dollar cost averaging. Again, shout out to Jake Fever. He has been preaching that dollar cost average gospel out there. And the reason why it's important is because you're literally just buying small pieces of digital gold, right? All you're saying is that, hey, let me take a chunk of this digital gold. There's only going to be a limited amount. We're seeing how limited it is and what's happening with supply and demand. And all you're saying is, let me take off a chunk of that digital gold. So again, if you don't have it, go work at a gas station, go squeegee some windows, do what you need to do to get that extra $5 or $10 a day to throw into that Bitcoin or crypto account to keep dollar cost averaging, because Bitcoin is going up, folks. It's looking great. Again, we still might get a slight dip, if not a big dip. But those chances are getting fewer and fewer as time goes on and as the market gets stronger, especially the mainstream market around Bitcoin itself. All right, with that being said, let's go ahead and take a peek at Ethereum. Again, to me, a lot of this Ethereum pump is because of Bitcoin. I will say, out of most notable altcoins, they probably rode this pump the best. And I believe also there's a lot of background action going on to where the Ethereum Foundation and a lot of Ethereum corporate maxis are doing everything in their power to keep pumping and to keep making this look good. Also, I will say this, shout out to Ethereum. I just used Ethereum recently. The price point and the gas fees are still down. I mean, hey, I will be honest, I'm objective. The gas fees for Ethereum are still down. I mean, I'm talking pennies on the dollar, 20 cents to do a transaction. Now, if you remember, this all began when they started donating money to their actual foundation, donated money to Ethereum and everything else to help those gas fees. I'm not sure if that pot has actually run dry, if this is their new update that's making the gas fees low, or is this just the new Ethereum to where gas fees are finally low? I'm going to check and test again, probably another week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I'm going to do it at prime hours to see. But as of now, their gas fees are low. So if they continue along that path, then yes, we're finally working and the price point does reflect the true value of it. But if this is just a 1 or 2 month more thing of while Bitcoin's pumping, we're going to keep these gas prices low to keep the prices high, then I'll find out in the next few weeks and I'll report back. But as of now, their gas fees are low. So if it continues like that, the price point is actually worth it. But again, we've been fooled not once, but twice, but more than 3 times by Ethereum, which makes me cautious about that in general, saying, are they really back? Was this an aggressive pump? Because here's the flip side, especially if you weren't already riding out this pump, which to be fair had to be off my count. What, they were at 3,600 and today they're at what, 4,000 and something. Easy 20 plus percent pump right there, right? 4,300 right now, 4,400. Yeah, so you're looking at like essentially a 20%, 25% pump on Ethereum in the past month. So it's one of those things where if you're right, you'll ride it up to what I know 10K. Everybody keeps saying 10K. The Ethereum to 10K, not as far fetched, but it was the same as like the Doge to a dollar crowd. Like it was people screaming and not looking at the market. Oh, so essentially Ethereum to 10K, you would need to double the market cap right now as it sits. And again, not saying impossible, but early projections for me are improbable because why? Like, what are they doing so different to where it should be a double market cap here in the next 30 days or so? So that's the kind of way I'm looking. If you roll this pump for Ethereum, it's probably people who already have been riding Ethereum and who have been sitting there. Good for you. You deserve that 20% pump. But if you haven't already been riding it and you're thinking about jumping in, now you're looking at, okay, this is essentially, or is it even essentially, or is it really? I didn't check Ethereum's all-time high, right? Now you're talking about jumping in at the top to get that squeeze out of it. So will it go from 4,400 to 5,000? Right? Nice pump, beautiful pump on that. Or will we see it retract first? I think it all depends on Bitcoin right now. It already had an amazing pump, but for it to continue pumping on its own as Bitcoin's going sideways and dipping, I'm not sure. I'll say that. I can't cancel it out because it went to 40 something hundred, 4,000 or something right now. So I'm not going to cancel it out. But I will say I'm not sure. It seems improbable to me. But I am not behind this Ethereum curtain right now. And clearly there is a wizard behind the curtain. So with that being said, I'm trying to find this article. I think I accidentally just canceled it out because I had too many articles going on over here. There we go. Ethereum Wells. There we go. Let me bring up this Ethereum article. We're going to talk ETH real quick. Ethereum whales, as you can see here, scoop up 260K worth of Ethereum, fueling $5,000 recovery hopes. And this is what I mean. It is not the retail market, nor is it in the Bitcoin market. So I'm not going to act like, hey, Ethereum can have its own institutional market there to pump it. But as you can see here, whale inflows into Ethereum are getting bigger as investors take profits from Bitcoin and rotate capital into Ether, raising hopes of new all-time highs soon. Something else I'll add too, when it comes to these Ether plays and pumps, I would say you have even more aggressive institutional investors on the Ethereum side. And what I mean is on Bitcoin, yeah, you definitely got some. Yeah, we have the whales. Like it's whales, they're huge investors, but these are slow movers. Like a lot of these people came to Bitcoin when it was 40 to $60,000 and started buying it. Even strategy, right? They didn't come super early. So they're already kind of conservative and slow moving when it comes to Bitcoin. The type of whales Ethereum have are like, I mean, I'm just going to say these are the coked out Wall Street kids, right? These are the ones that are saying we're not billionaires like those guys over there, those institutions with Bitcoin, but we're multimillionaires willing to risk it all to become billionaires. Those are a lot of the Ethereum maxi. So, and what I mean and why I say that is because yes, when they see it pumping the way it's been pumping, they are willing to throw the everything, the house at the wall to say, let's keep pushing it because we know that if we show the world that, hey, this thing is pumping on its own, it has buying power, it has value, and people are impressed, they'll buy the bags and we can sell once it's ready. That's the thing you got to remember about all these tokens and cryptocurrencies, which I will always come back to. Bitcoin so far is one of the only cryptocurrencies out there where people are saying, I don't plan on selling this, or I don't want to at least. Like if I have to, I will. But they don't plan on selling Bitcoin when they buy it, even if they plan to use it. They're like, I plan on using it. I plan on trading for it, right? For a house or a car or whatever else, my kids' college tuition, but they do not plan on selling it. Every other token out there, and shout out to Jake once more because I saw you on the Discord a couple weeks back again going in on on Ripple. And of course, my sentiments are the same. Whereas it's like, hey, these Ripple maxis, including their CEO, their game plan is to sell the Ripple once it reaches a high enough price point. So to me, it doesn't sound like you believe in the network, you believe in the token, you believe in what you have going on. It seems to me like you're trying to get a payday. Bitcoin is the only one and the only place where people aren't thinking about selling 24/7. They're thinking about how to get more. They're saying this is the gold standard. This is what we need. This holds value. So I say that about Ethereum. While these whales are doing things like, hey, scooping up 260,000 more Ethereum, just remember they're scooping it up to eventually sell to someone here down the line. They are not scooping it up to say, hey, I'm going to keep it and hold it because this will change everything. They're just saying, hey, I need to get as much as possible because more than likely they've already lost a lot of capital on it. And they're like, this is our time to get it back. And the best way to get it back is get 260,000 ETH, push the price up, throw some articles out on Cointelegraph and CoinDesk, do a few podcasts, and watch that price fly. And once it hits 5,500, 6,000, or whatever, sell about 220,000 of those Ethereum and then sit on these last 40K to make my nut. Shout out to South Park. You know what I mean? So that's essentially what's going on with Ethereum. I'm not mad at the play. Okay. I'm not denigrating the play. I'm just saying that is the play. The play isn't for Ethereum to change the world with their smart contracts. Because if you notice, whenever we're talking Ethereum, we aren't talking technology. It is almost always price at this point. So key takeaways you can see here: Ethereum. Oh, shout out to Cointelegraph. Listen, hey, it took y'all 6 years. Shout out to Cointelegraph. These key takeaways. This is a bit. What is it? What's the other website called? I can't even think of it right now. This is a CoinDesk. They do that on CoinDesk. This is a CoinDesk thing where they have the key takeaways and highlights of the article. Cointelegraph said we're gonna go ahead and adopt that and do it on ours. Shout out to Cointelegraph for adopting some new stuff for their website. I like it. But key takeaways here: Ethereum will is about 260K ETH in the last 24 hours, signaling accumulation. And again, this is what I mean. Even the article will say signaling accumulation. Why is that signaling accumulation? So what if it was just me and I woke up in the middle of the night and I bought a bunch of ETH? Would I be signaling accumulation? What if this is an exchange? So I don't know. Again, this is where that narrative comes from, which is kind of false to me, where there's like, well, signaling accumulation is like, well, why? Because a single actor or a group of actors bought a bunch of ETH. That doesn't signal accumulation to me, but I mean, whatever. Whales, Bitmine, and ETFs at billions of dollars in ETH, reinforcing bullish demand. So again, this is Wells, Bitmine, and ETFs. You're talking about 20 people max got on the phone together and said, let's pump it. Okay. That's what it looks like to me. 10 or 20 people max text each other, telegrammed each other, signal each other, get on the phone and was like, let's pump Ethereum. I'm about to throw a couple 100,000 in. Oh, I'm about to throw a few million in. Hey, I have a few million in spirit as well. Next thing you know, they're signaling accumulation in articles and you see the price pump. Again, this is what I mean by like almost a fabricated pump. It's like nothing changed value wise to where it would have been different. Key takeaway would have been different if it was like the gas fee is as low as it's ever been, or gas fees are lowest in 10 years. Everything's working, like the price is pumping. That makes sense to me. But for it to just to pump because some whales got together and started to pump it, to me, it sounds like a pump and dump play, which, by the way, oftentimes happens when the Bitcoin market is pumping. So even not now, whenever you'll see Bitcoin pump 5, 10, 15%, you'll start seeing these type of whales and these articles pop up where they're saying, hey, these whales are making this Ethereum play. It doesn't mean Ethereum is doing anything. It means the whales are. Price technicals favor the bulls with targets between $5,000 and $6,000. All right. First and foremost, Cointelegraph, shame, shame, shame. Wildly irresponsible to have a price swing for Ethereum between $5,000 and $6,000. Like that's a small price swing. Like that's legitimately once it get there, probably like once it gets there, was it off the top of my head? Probably a 15%, 14% price swing, which in Bitcoin and crypto isn't the wildest and craziest thing. But right now, from what $6,000 to $4,400, you're talking about a what 26%, 20. I'm talking my head, 28% price swing. That is crazy for you just to be like, yeah, we're favoring a target between like, is that it's at its all-time high at $4,400, and they're saying it favors a $6,000 price tag. That's incredibly crazy, incredibly lazy to even write. And again, this is where I'm saying, like, who paid you to pump this article or to put this story out there? Like, and I will say this: it is eyeballing $5,000. It needs to cross and get to 4,800 first. I think the market believes a 4,800 price point will be a walk in the park and it's going to blow right by. I don't think that. I think 4,800 would be an aggressive resistance metric for Ethereum. And even when they pump through it, let's say they do, 5,200 is going to be just as aggressive as 4,800. So to think they're just going to blow by 4,800 and then 5,200 is to go straight to 6,000. Okay, you know what? I'll say yes, that will happen if Bitcoin's $127,000. All right, you call it here. Bitcoin has to be $127,000 for Ethereum to blow past those price targets like that. So I don't agree with that part about it. And that's what I mean by this. They say it's signaling accumulation. I'm like, are you sure you're not signaling the accumulation? I'm not mad, but I'm just saying. Ethereum whales by the dip, responding to the market correction over last week. Ether whales took advantage of the drop to 4,200. Data from Sentiment shows that whale addresses holding between 10,000 and 100,000 ETH rose by 4% between August 24th and Tuesday. Moreover, these big investors have accumulated about 260,000 ETH worth $1.14 billion in the past 24 hours. And this is what I'm saying. Imagine if these institutional investors did not acquire that 1.14 billion dollars worth of ETH. What would the price point be at, right? We would see it slip already. So this is what I mean by, and again, this is happening with Bitcoin too. But even if the institutions pulled out of Bitcoin right now, you're still looking at a fair 75,000, 80,000 Bitcoin, which is how I get back to that price point, by the way. You're still looking at a pretty high price point Bitcoin from the retail market. But if the Ethereum maxis, if these institutional folks pull out, you are legitimately looking at a $1,900, $2,400 Ethereum. And that's on a great day, honestly, in my belief. So it's saying a lot that is being really propped up by their maxis on this side as well. On Monday, a whale holding $5 billion worth of Bitcoin bought and staked 1.08 billion of ETH via hyperunit. Data resource Arkham Intelligence revealed in the X post, adding, including last week purchases, this whale has now bought and staked 3.5 billion of ETH in total. And again, they're not buying and staking ETH because it's for the good of the community. They're doing it to hope to get a return on that investment. I'm assuming here in the next quarter or so, which very well may be possible, but they very well may also take a dip. So again, those are the main two players out there right now, Bitcoin and Ethereum. Of course, we've had a lot of altcoins have some good price action on them. I've seen a lot of volatility there, so that's looking great as well. But all in all, the market is alive and well, folks. The market is alive and well. I've been paying attention for the most part every day. I was just thinking it was something funny I was about to add, but I'm about to forget. I'm looking at the comments right now. I'm looking at some funny comments. Alec G said that, yeah, YouTube changed up the desktop player. Everything's changed up right now. It's been a season of redoing it all for sure. Memories of Mike said probably AI written at the very least summarized by AI. Let's see. Oh, I seen somebody said somebody's Charles Hoskinson status with Vitality. Jake said Vitality is the reason no one can really trust Ethereum. Nothing about him says trustworthy. And it's crazy how time changes because if you remember, Vitalik came out as this 19-year-old genius and da da da. And you also remember, for those who's watching the show at this time, while I was applauding him for being like the super genius and everything, I was like, in business, he's a no-go. Like, he's weird. Like, that's not the way he acts and everything isn't cool in business. You remember he had like he wears the pajamas out, he's frail, not getting the sunlight. I'm like, in business, this isn't that doesn't scream confidence where you're talking about the financial sector, right? Now you can get away with it for a while, having that aloofness to you, but eventually when the rubber meets the road, people want to know, like, hey, is my money safe? Like, are my projects safe? Are these things secure? And Vitalik, to me, I agree, has shown time and time again. Uh, maybe he's bored. I'll say that. Maybe he's just bored of the project, or maybe it's too much stress, both of which are real, of course. If you remember, Russia was leaning on him hard when this project first came out. So maybe it's a lot going on, but I agree. He's not doing much to help the price point at all. Jake said ETH may hit 10K. Now, for non-crypto investors, look at it like all crypto is the same. So they're going to put their money there thinking it works like stocks. I can agree with that sentiment as well. Chris said crypto got most of his market cap from capital rotation out of Bitcoin to alts. I agree also. Another reason why the price action will take longer from now on. Yeah, for sure. I can agree with that. Lord, what's going on, Laura Smith's fees are always low when ETH isn't being used. LOL. And that's true as well. And I haven't looked at that. What's the volume of the Ethereum network? Chris is right, or excuse me, Lord is right. It's like, hey, no one's using it, which is why the fees are low. I have to actually see who's using the network to determine that as well. Solo Digital said, once you get that Bitcoin, please get it off exchanges. Listen, once you get your Bitcoin at this point, take it off the internet, put it on a phone or a wallet or something that's not connected online, folks. So one of the things I just did, shout out to Oklahoma City. They showed me a good time. I went to Oklahoma to shoot a commercial about a week or two ago. The commercial was about identity theft, and I had a chance to make some money off my story of getting hacked years ago. if you remember, I did get, well, technically Zay got hacked, which led to me getting hacked. So who knows if he really got hacked or he was a hacker messing with this guy, right? But what I will say is I have the screenshots of when I was hacked, and oh man, folks, when I'm telling you, it's literally on one screen. It's like like what would be, because it was about a 6 Bitcoin or something on one of them. So I'm just looking at it. It just hurts me looking at it, folks. That was 6 Bitcoin. I think when the price point was what, I don't know. Who cares, right? The price point had to be like $3,000 at the time. But just looking at those screenshots and then like the hacker messages, just it was just eating me alive. I was just like, I haven't done nothing wrong here. Okay. I haven't done nothing wrong. I've been on the right track. I just had some bad breaks. But I was just like, oh, that one hurts to look at it. So just remember as well, yes, you definitely want to secure your Bitcoin and crypto. It is super valuable. And if you think that was a lot, then think about 6 Bitcoin now and the next, because what that happened in 2017. So add another 8 years of whatever you have in your wallet now. You do not want that to get hacked. Make sure you're taking the proper precautions and you're not leaving nothing online or on any phones. You go on the internet and browse and things like that. All right. Other than that, that is the day. That is the show for today. Like I said, just for the most part, I want to cover Bitcoin and Ethereum. Shout out to Porto, to Bitcoin again. I know things happen. We will see them later this week. We will be having that interview. So more for that. Hopefully we can do it. If we don't do it tomorrow, hopefully we get them on for Friday. But other than that, I will be back for the most part for the dailies. The only time I won't be is next few weeks. I'm still having a crazy shoot schedule. I'm trying to break the door down in Hollywood, folks. So I might have a crazy shoot schedule, but I'll be back with some more dailies. Smash that like and share, and I see you all tomorrow with some more Bitcoin news. And yes, just inform you, you will get an entire Zay expose. Believe me, you will. You will. Listen, my only concern, I just told y'all about that hack. And then as much as I love, my only concern has been stacking these sats right now. Okay. And this is what everybody always say, like, oh, you so good at XYZ. Why are you teaching people? Why are you preaching? Why aren't you doing it? I am good at XYZ, which is why I'm doing it. And I'm not teaching it and preaching it. I'm trying to do it myself and get it back. So I'm getting these sats back. It's been a mission all year because yes, this guy put me in a ditch, but the expose, the full length story still is coming. Never, don't worry. That will always be coming. Smash that like and share. I'll see you all tomorrow, and I'll have